What if the biggest step toward happiness isn't about what you gain, but what you let go of? As we grow older, the world around us tends to slow down, but the weight we carry often doesn't. And too often, that weight has nothing to do with our bodies. It lives in our thoughts, our routines, our expectations. It's made up of outdated beliefs, old habits, and emotional baggage that no longer serves us. In this video, we're walking through 11 things to let go of between the ages of 70 and 85. If you want to experience freedom and peace in this stage of life, these aren't about giving up, they're about clearing space for joy, for living lighter. And here's the truth, these 11 things aren't just emotional, they're practical. They're rooted in experience, in what thousands of people later in life say they wish they had released sooner. So if you've been feeling like something is weighing you down, but you can't quite name it, you might just find that answer here. Stick around until the end, because even letting go of one of these habits or thought patterns can open the door to a version of life that feels more spacious, more honest, and more fulfilling than you thought possible. Let's begin. Number 1, the need to stay busy all the time. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that being productive was the same thing as being valuable. That if you weren't doing something, you weren't worth something. And that message planted decades ago can be hard to unlearn. Even now at 70 or 80, you might feel a strange guilt for slowing down, for taking a nap, for sitting quietly in the garden with no agenda at all. There's this lingering voice that says you should be doing more. But what if doing less isn't a sign of decline, but a sign of wisdom? When you're always in motion, you miss things. You miss the stillness where clarity happens. You miss the peace that comes when you're no longer measuring your day by how much you got done, but by how fully you were present. Letting go of the need to stay constantly busy doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start choosing what truly matters. You say no to noise, no to obligations that drain you, no to the version of you that confuses motion with meaning. And in that space, something beautiful starts to return, your sense of peace, your patience, your ability to savor. Sit in a room and notice the light coming through the window. You don't have to earn your rest. You are enough. Letting go of busy isn't giving up, it's waking up. It's allowing yourself to experience this season of life as it's meant to be, slower, yes, but deeper too. Number 2, outdated expectations for yourself. We spend most of our lives chasing an image, who we think we should be, what we think we should have done, and how we think we should look while doing it. But the truth is, many of those expectations were set decades ago, when the world was different and so were we. Holding on to them now is like trying to wear clothes that no longer fit. They might have served you once. They might have even made sense in your 40s or 50s. But now they feel tight in all the wrong places, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. Maybe you still feel pressure to be strong all the time, or to handle everything by yourself. Maybe you're frustrated that your body doesn't move the way it used to, or that your energy isn't as sharp as it once was. And quietly underneath it all, you tell yourself, I should be better than this. But here's something worth considering better. According to whom? Expecting yourself to perform like you did 20 or 30 years ago doesn't prove your worth, it only robs you of peace. And ironically, the more you resist where you are now, the harder it becomes to appreciate what's still beautiful, capable, and wise within you. Letting go of outdated expectations is not the same as letting go of dignity. In fact, it's a return to it. Because when you stop measuring yourself against an earlier version of who you used to be, you make room for something far more powerful, accepting who you are now with grace. You allow your body to slow down without feeling ashamed. You let your mind rest without fearing it's falling behind. You stop chasing perfection and start practicing presence. And what's amazing is that when you release those invisible standards, you often find that the people around you never needed you to be anything, but exactly who you are, gentle, grounded, real. So if you've been feeling like you're not measuring up to your own invisible checklist, maybe it's time to tear that list up. Because the version of you that's here right now, they're not behind. They're just finally becoming real. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, guilt over past mistakes. There's a kind of heaviness that creeps in as we age, not from the body, but from the heart. It's the quiet guilt that lives in the corners of our memory. The moments we wish we'd handled better, the words we can't unsay, the chances we didn't take, the people we may have hurt, even without meaning to. And while those memories may fade with time, the guilt often doesn't. It lingers. Sometimes it shows up in the middle of the night. Sometimes in the middle of a conversation. You think back and ask yourself, why did I do that? Or what if I had done it differently? But here's the truth, no one tells us enough. Guilt is meant to teach, not to punish. Once the lesson is learned, once you've owned your part and done what you could to make peace, it's time to let it go. Holding on to guilt for the rest of your life doesn't honor those you may have hurt. It only keeps you stuck in a moment that no longer needs to define you. And more importantly, it keeps you from showing up fully now, from laughing without a shadow, from enjoying love without feeling like you don't deserve it. Forgiveness isn't just something we offer others. Sometimes the most powerful act of love is the one we give ourselves. Saying, yes, I made mistakes, but I am still worthy of peace. This chapter of your life, these years between 70 and 85 weren't meant to be haunted. They were meant to be healed. And when you begin to release that old guilt, something remarkable happens. You stop bracing, you stop replaying, and you start living. You find that joy returns more easily, that your shoulders drop, that people around you feel safer, not because you're perfect, but because you're present. Letting go of guilt doesn't mean forgetting. It means forgiving. And it means finally allowing yourself to step into the kind of freedom that regret can't reach. Number 4, relationships that drain your spirit. There's a point in life when you start to realize not every relationship is meant to last forever. Some are seasonal. Some are situational. And some, if you're honest with yourself, have quietly been taking more than they give for years. But we often hold on to them anyway, out of habit, out of guilt, out of fear that walking away means we're being selfish or cold. Especially as we get older, there's this pressure to keep the peace or not rock the boat. But peace at the cost of your emotional well-being is not really peace. If you have people in your life, friends, family, neighbors, who constantly leave you feeling small, exhausted or uneasy, it might be time to ask yourself a powerful question. Why am I still allowing this energy into my world? You've likely spent a lifetime trying to be kind, to be generous, to be accommodating. And those are beautiful qualities, but they should never come at the expense of your inner peace. Letting go of a draining relationship doesn't always mean cutting someone off with harsh words or dramatic exits. Sometimes it's just a quiet shift, less time spent, firmer boundaries, more space for people who actually lift you up. Because when you create that space, when you let go of what drains you, you make room for what nourishes you. For conversations that energize rather than exhaust. For relationships that make you feel more you, not less. And this isn't about surrounding yourself only with people who agree with you. It's about surrounding yourself with people who respect you. At this stage in your life, your energy is sacred. Your time is precious. You don't have to spend it proving your worth to people who refuse to see it. Letting go of draining relationships isn't selfish, it's self-respect. And it might just be the key to reclaiming a level of happiness you didn't realize you were missing. Number 5, fear about what others think. For so much of our lives, we carry a hidden burden, the need to be liked, approved of, accepted. We wonder what others might say, how they might judge, whether they'll misunderstand. And often, without realizing it, we adjust ourselves accordingly. We soften our voice when we want to speak clearly. We hold back laughter because we don't want to seem too loud. We say yes when we mean no, just to avoid making things awkward. But by the time you reach 70, 80, or beyond, there comes a moment when you realize you've earned the right to live without that fear. You've survived heartbreaks, raised families, made sacrifices, endured disappointments, built things from scratch, and started over more times than anyone knows. You don't owe the world a performance anymore. Letting go of the fear of what others think doesn't mean becoming rude or reckless. It means becoming real. It means speaking with your full voice, even if it shakes. It means wearing what makes you feel like yourself, not what makes others comfortable. It means making decisions that align with your heart, your values, your truth. Because the people who truly care about you, they don't need you to shrink to fit their preferences. They love you when you're authentic, not when you're edited. And the people who judge you harshly, who gossip, who assume the worst, their opinion is not your responsibility to manage. As you move through this chapter of life, ask yourself, what would I do differently if I stopped worrying what others might think? The answer might surprise you. It might even free you. Because peace doesn't come from approval. It comes from alignment. And when your inner world starts matching your outer choices, life becomes lighter. At this stage, you don't need permission to be who you are. You just need the courage to stop apologizing for it. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 5 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 6, the urge to control everything. There's something in all of us that wants life to follow a plan, to know what's coming next, to keep things orderly, to feel like we're steering the wheel. And for many of us, that need for control served us well for years. It helped us raise families, build careers, manage chaos, and survive hardship. But as the seasons change and life slows down, that same need can quietly start working against us. You might find yourself feeling irritated when plans shift at the last minute, or anxious when someone you care about makes a choice you wouldn't have made, or frustrated when your body doesn't respond the way it used to, no matter how hard you try. And underneath it all is that silent urge, I need things to go my way. But the truth is, control is often an illusion, and holding on too tightly can rob us of the very thing we're trying to protect, our peace. Letting go of the need to control doesn't mean giving up. It means loosening your grip, trusting a little more, allowing space for things to unfold naturally, even if they don't look exactly how you imagine. It means choosing calm over rigidity, curiosity over judgment, acceptance over resistance. You'll find that when you stop trying to control everything, life becomes softer, not because the world changed, but because you did. Your relationships feel easier because you're not managing other people's choices. Your days feel lighter because you're not wrestling with the unpredictable. And most importantly, your heart feels safer because it's no longer bracing for what might go wrong. There's a quiet freedom that comes when you finally say, I can't control this, but I can choose how I respond to it. And in that choice, you reclaim something more valuable than control. You reclaim your peace. Number 7, clutter in your home and mind. Over the decades, we gather things. Objects, papers, mementos, old appliances, unread books, clothes we don't wear anymore, but also thoughts, worries and memories we haven't quite sorted through. And before we know it, our homes and our minds are full. Some of it's beautiful, sentimental, worth keeping. But much of it, if we're being honest, just takes up space. Maybe it's the drawer full of cords no one can identify, or the closet you haven't opened in a year, or the stack of mail that keeps growing on the kitchen table. And beyond that, maybe it's the mental weight of too many responsibilities, old conversations replaying in your head, or a to-do list that never seems to end. At this stage in life, clutter is more than just an inconvenience. It becomes emotional noise. It drains your energy without you even realizing it. Letting go of clutter doesn't mean getting rid of everything. It means choosing what matters now. It means walking into your home and feeling calm instead of overwhelmed. It means opening a drawer and knowing exactly what's inside. It means freeing your mental space so you can focus on what brings joy, not what creates chaos. And here's what's surprising. When you begin to clear physical clutter, your mind often follows. You sleep better. You feel lighter. You also begin to recognize that simplicity isn't lack, it's clarity. It's not about having less, it's about making space for more of what matters, more peace, more room to move, more quiet moments where you're not staring at piles of things asking, why do I still have this? And the same goes for mental clutter. Let go of overthinking. Let go of the imaginary arguments, the list of what you didn't get done, the comparisons to who you used to be. Create space in your home, in your head, because happiness doesn't need a crowded room. It just needs room. Number 8, denying your emotional needs. There's a quiet message many people grew up with, especially in older generations, that said, don't be too needy. Be strong. Be independent. Don't bother others with your emotions. Don't ask for too much. And while that message may have helped you survive, it may also be the very thing keeping you from thriving now. Because here's the truth, no matter how old you are, your emotional needs don't disappear. The need to be listened to, the need to feel loved, the need to feel useful, seen, included. But over time, especially if you've lived through a lot, it can feel easier to just say, I'm fine. To downplay your loneliness, to pretend that you don't wish someone would check in, to convince yourself that asking for company or help makes you a burden. It doesn't. Letting go of the belief that your emotional needs are too much is one of the kindest things you can do for yourself. Because needing connection doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. And when you finally allow yourself to admit what you need to say, I miss companionship, or I wish someone would just listen, or I don't want to spend so much time alone anymore, that's not giving in. That's speaking up. That's honoring yourself. And you'd be surprised how many people around you are waiting for the chance to support you, to sit with you, to laugh with you, to simply be near. Sometimes the only reason they haven't stepped in is because you've done such a good job pretending you don't need anyone. Letting go of emotional self-denial isn't selfish, it's essential. Because your feelings are valid, your heart is still beating, and it deserves to be heard, held, and cared for. This chapter of your life is not about fading into the background. It's about leaning into the relationships, the conversations, and the moments that remind you you're not done needing, and you're certainly not done deserving. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 8 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 9, comparisons to younger people or your younger self. One of the quietest thieves of joy in later life is comparison. Not just to others, but to the person you used to be. You might find yourself looking at someone younger and thinking, I used to move like that. Or glancing in the mirror and remembering a version of your face from 20 years ago. Or watching someone else take on something new and hearing a voice whisper, that used to be me. And without even realizing it, you start stacking your present against your past, measuring what's been lost instead of noticing what's been gained. But the truth is, the person you used to be didn't know what you know now. They hadn't seen what you've seen. They hadn't walked through what you've survived. Letting go of comparison doesn't mean you forget who you were. It means you stop using that version of yourself as a ruler you have to live up to every day. It means honoring the changes instead of mourning them. It means recognizing that there is no shame in slowing down, in looking different, in feeling differently about life. And when it comes to others, neighbors, younger family members, people you see on television or in your community, comparison only creates distance. You don't need to prove you're still sharp, still strong, still keeping up. Because your value isn't based on speed, appearance, or output. It's based on presence, on wisdom, on the quiet steadiness that comes from living fully. When you stop comparing, you begin appreciating. You look at your hands, your pace, your day, and instead of criticism, you feel gratitude. You stop asking, why can't I do what I used to? And start asking, what can I do now that brings me joy, peace, or meaning? And more often than not, that shift in perspective is what brings the most beautiful kind of peace. Not from chasing what was, but from embracing what is. Number 10, the belief that it's too late for new joy. As the years pass, a quiet thought can start to settle in. That part of life is behind me. Whether it's romance, adventure, creativity, or personal growth, many people begin to believe that the window has closed. You might look at a dance class and think, I'm too old for that now. Or feel a spark of interest in something new and immediately hear your own voice say, why bother? But here's the truth, joy doesn't expire. It doesn't care how many candles were on your last birthday cake. It doesn't ask for youthful energy or flawless health. All it needs is openness, curiosity, a willingness to step into something, even gently, that feels different from routine. Maybe it's trying a new recipe, joining a book club, volunteering at a local shelter, traveling to a place you've always wondered about, even if it's just the next town over. Maybe it's writing that story you've carried in your head for decades, or sitting outside with your morning coffee and letting yourself actually watch the sunrise instead of just noticing that it's there. Letting go of the belief that it's too late for joy doesn't mean pretending to be someone you're not. It means rediscovering who you still are, because joy is not about age. It's about aliveness. And if you're still here, still waking up each day, still feeling, still wondering, still caring, then there's room for joy. Sometimes the most surprising moments of happiness come not from grand adventures, but from simple acts of saying yes when you would have said no. And when you do, you often find that life still has things to offer. New laughter, new purpose, even new love, not always in the romantic sense, but in the form of presence, awe, friendship, or self-compassion. The clock hasn't run out on you. And joy is still waiting, not somewhere far away, but right here, in the present moment, just hoping you'll reach for it. Number 11, the habit of saying I'm fine when you're not. There's a phrase many of us have repeated for years, sometimes out of habit, sometimes out of pride, and sometimes out of fear. But often it's not true. Inside you might feel lonely, overwhelmed, uncertain, or just tired in a way you can't quite name. And yet when someone asks how you are, the words come out automatically. I'm fine. We tell ourselves it's easier that way. We don't want to burden anyone. We don't want to appear weak. And sometimes we're afraid that if we really told the truth, we wouldn't know how to stop. But here's the quiet damage that I'm fine can do. It keeps connection out. It shuts the door on care. It convinces others you don't need anything, when in fact, you might need a listening ear more than ever. Letting go of that phrase doesn't mean spilling your heart to everyone who passes by. It means giving yourself permission to be real with the people who've earned your trust. To say, I've had a hard day, or I could use a little company, or even just, I'm not sure what I'm feeling, but I know I'm feeling something. That honesty is not weakness. It's bravery. It opens the door to help, to empathy, to the kind of conversations that make us feel less alone in the world. And when you allow yourself to drop the mask, even just a little, you often find that people are more ready to meet you with love than you expected. Because the truth is, no one expects you to have it all figured out. No one expects you to be strong every second of every day. And if they do, that expectation says more about them than it ever will about you. So the next time someone asks how you're doing, take a breath. And if you're not fine, consider saying something a little more true. You never know, your honesty might not just lighten your load. It might give someone else the courage to put theirs down too. Final thoughts. Now that we've walked through these 11 things, I invite you to pause, not to judge yourself, but to gently ask, which of these am I still holding on to? And what might life feel like if I gave myself permission to let just one of them go? You see, this stage of life isn't about proving anything anymore. It's about releasing what no longer serves you so that something better can take its place. Lighter mornings, deeper laughter, more honest connection. Letting go doesn't mean loss, it means freedom. It means telling yourself the truth about what's taking up space in your heart, your home, and your mind, and deciding that your peace is worth more. You've carried a lot. You've earned the right to live unburdened. So whether it's releasing the need to stay busy, the habit of saying I'm fine, or the belief that your best days are behind you, every step you take in letting go is also a step towards something softer, truer, and more aligned with who you are now. Let today be the day you stop asking, what should I still be doing? And start asking, what do I want to feel more of? Because you're not too late. You're right on time. And there's still more joy waiting for you. Not in what you add, but in what you release. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.